Hello there, it is I, Shepherd Shang, and I am still wearing the wrong skin. Give me a minute. Okay, you know what? No, screw changing my skin. I'm just gonna put on the armor so you can't see it. Yeah, okay, so... This is another supplemental episode of Abyssalcraft is kind of awesome. And in this case, we are finally talking about the version differences. It certainly took me long enough to get to this, didn't it? Yeah. So, what version of Minecraft am I currently using? You notice that some of the stuff in the background looks a bit different. Well, let's see if it shows it on this. Where does it say that? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There it is. Up in the top left, Minecraft 1.8.9. It will not show me what version of Abyssalcraft I'm using, so that's fine. So, yes, this is Abyssalcraft for 1.8.9. And what are the differences between it and previous versions? Well, honestly, not a whole lot. You can see, that stuff there. That looks different. But yeah, let's talk about some stuff first. Okay, so this was supposed to be this video was supposed to be done in Minecraft 1.9 because as you should know, Minecraft 1.9 was the combat update and how you fight was changed. And as such, it would have the most differences from previous versions of Abyssalcraft. Unfortunately, my computer seems to hate Minecraft 1.9, and I cannot load in worlds after I have closed them. Which is extremely annoying for the purposes of this tutorial, since I already set everything up. I have to spend more time doing this. Okay. Anyway, Minecraft 1.9. The combat has changed. How combat works is different. But aside from that, it is exactly the same. The version of Abyssalcraft for 1.9 and 1.9.4 is exactly the same as the version for 1.8.9. How the combat works is literally the only difference I am aware of. Now, 1.8.9. Before I start with that, I should say some other stuff. The versions of Abyssalcraft that are available. So I just mentioned the 1.9, the 1.8, of course. Main tutorial I've been doing has been for versions 1.7. I've also mentioned that there is a version of Abyssalcraft for 1.6, but it has not been updated since 2014, so it's gonna be very, very different. And apparently I didn't know this, but there are actually versions of Abyssalcraft for 1.4 and 1.5. Yeah, I genuinely didn't know that. And I don't know why I didn't know that. I just didn't. But yeah, when I say they're very different, I mean, like, when I first found the Abyssalcraft in 2015, it was very different from what it is now. She now only implemented, like, the rituals and stuff. They didn't get implemented till, like, October 2015, I think it was? Yeah. So if for some reason you gonna use, the 1.6, 1.5, or 1.4 versions of Abyssalcraft, it will be very little, and have very little in common with the tutorial I've been showing you. Yeah, I think I've rambled on long enough. Let's start talking about some version differences. Okay, so this is 1.8.9. One thing I will say, the wooden crates, remember them? They're like slightly larger chests. You can stack them up on top of stuff, and you can put blocks above them and they'll still open. For some reason they don't work in 1.8.9. Maybe it's just me, but I can't get them to work. Not sure why. They work at 1.9, so not a clue. So, what's different? Well, we've got some visual differences. This is the Dreadlands Infused Power Stone. That's what it looks like as an item, and that's what it looks like as a block. It now has more detail than it used to have. It was just sort of vaguely triangular obelisk looking thing before. Now it's this cool looking crystal looking thing. Yeah. So, also, that's the Darkland oak trees and the Dreadland trees. As the saplings, I should be saying. Yeah. They look different in 1.8 and 1.9 than they did in 1.7. And you can see them behind me. I'll talk about them right now. Why not? So yeah. They grow in various different types of patterns. This one looks sort of squat, I guess. Yeah. Here's some that looks a bit more common version, I guess. Sort of spread out. They look very interesting, I will say. They're definitely much more distinct than the vanilla trees, which they used to look like. What else to say about that? Well, there is something interesting about the wood. Let's go back over here, or where I put the logs down. Well, you notice, the logs have, stuff in the center. I don't know what that's called on normal wood. The center of a log. It's sort of darker red than the bark with these Dreadland trees. But you notice that, these are the Dreadlands wood logs. Just like these. But when they're on the tree, they look a little bit different. For whatever reason, when they're on the tree, you can't see the inside of them the way you can with vanilla wood. But you can when they're just stuff you've placed in the world. I'm not sure what's up with this. I'm not sure if that's a graphical glitch. I'm not sure if it's intentional. I'm not sure if it's just something that hasn't been updated yet. Not a clue what's up with that. And the same is true of the Darkland oak wood. Yeah. Still got the cool animation. Those are going in different directions. Interesting. But yeah, for whatever reason, just like with the Dreadlands wood, you can't see the center of them. I mean, it looks nice on the trees. I mean, it looks more natural than it does with, like, the vanilla logs. When you've, like, got the big oak trees and they've got, like, the branches coming out and you can see the center of them. It looks a bit odd. This looks a bit more natural. Of course, it's animated wood, so it's not particularly natural, but, you know, whatever. Okay. So, back to visual differences. This is the Staff of the Gatekeeper, which, as you might remember, is a better version of the Staff of Rendering. And you might remember that it looked pretty neat in the 1.7 version. It had a cool model. Now it's just sort of a flat model, like most Minecraft items. Yeah, I'm not sure why that was changed, but whatever. And this is the Cudgel that dropped from the Skeleton Goliaths. Remember, it also had a pretty cool 3D model. Now it's just another 2D model, and looks significantly less cool. Still got the same attack value though, so whatever. So, what else is different? Well, the answer is not a lot. I'm currently recording this towards the beginning of June. The main break from the version through Minecraft differences between 1.7.10 was only happened in like April. What do I mean by that? Basically, Shinao had updated all of these mods, all these versions of it together 1.7, 1.8, and 1.9. They were being updated together, but in April, stopped making the updates for 1.7 and only continued with 1.8 and 1.9. So that was 2 months ago. There aren't a whole lot of differences yet. Eventually there will be. But yeah, the other handful of differences have to do with 1.8 and 1.9 itself, the updates to vanilla Minecraft. And they're kind of fun. So, if you've played 1.8, which at this point it's been around for, what is it, like 2 years now? 3 years? I think it came out in 2013? Like late 2000? I don't remember. You'll know that there were 3 new types of stone introduced. Granite, diorite, and andesite. And for the various Abyssalcraft recipes that use stone, these can actually be substituted for them. This is the recipe for the engraver, which, if you remember, used to have an anvil, 2 blank engravings, a lever, and 3 smooth stone. Now you can substitute it with granite, diorite, and andesite. And, just as interestingly, polished granite, polished diorite, and polished andesite. I'm pretty sure you could literally use these 3 separate items together and still make the recipe work. In fact, I'm going to check that right now. Okay, so, here we go. 1 diorite, 1 andesite, 1 granite, and an engraver. It worked! Yep. So, any Abyssalcraft recipe that used smooth stone can now use the various versions of these 3 new stones in any combination you happen to feel like, which is pretty cool, I will say. Very versatile. Now, I will, however, say that there weren't very many Abyssalcraft recipes that actually used smooth stone. There was the engraver and there was the corallium infused stone. And I think that was it. But yeah, you can now use any combination of them. And that's the normal the versions you get from mining in the world, and the polished versions, which is just 4 of them in a square. But yeah, it's neat. It's something a bit interesting. But also, since these items were added, you can transmute them and you can crystallize them. Now, just like smooth stone in those recipes, when you transmute smooth stone, you get dark stone. So, if you transmute any one of these 6 versions of the granite, diorite, and andesite, if you transmute it, it turns into dark stone. Which is another cool way to get dark stone. Since the whole blindness thing when you're in these biomes. And crystallization. All 6 of these items crystallize into the same things. They turn into silica shards and magnesia shards. And you get 4 each of those. So one of those gets you 4 silica shards and 4 magnesia shards. Yep. Okay, so other differences. Well, there's a couple new things in the Necronomicon. I'm using the final version just to show them off. Now, from what I understand, some of the rituals have had their PE requirements increased. But I don't actually know which ones. I was looking through these earlier, and I can't see any differences off the top of my head. Of course, I don't exactly have them memorized, so, you know, whatever. Now, one other thing that I have noticed, which is kind of helpful, if you remember that how making the statues required remnant help, yeah, no, that's no longer required. Which is very nice, I'll be honest, because that is such a pain in the ass. You have to have 5 remnants nearby, and unless you have mods, other than mods, like extra utilities which give you stuff like the golden lasso to pick up mods, damn it, I keep saying that, mobs, to pick up mobs, you basically have no way to get 5 of them close by. So yeah, it was a bit of a pain. That's no longer the case, and that is very convenient. But yeah, there have been no new rituals added to the various versions of Necronomicon. Let's see, what else was there? Oh yes, I do remember now. There is a new page here on potential energy. Now, you might remember Shoggoth infestations. I really hope you do, because they're extremely bad. Yeah, as of 1.8 and 1.9, there is a page in the Necronomicon about Shoggoth infestations. And that is this page, which is 2 pages. Whatever. It's close enough to 1 page, it doesn't really matter. It's 1 button, who cares? The distinction isn't important. Let's see, what else was there? Oh yes, there was, the Necronomicon now has its own missing texture thing. You might know that, if you're missing a texture in Minecraft, it gives you this sort of pink-black checkerboard pattern looking thing. And that was the same case with, in the, Necronomicon. It'll give you just where this image is. It would just have a pink and black checkerboard. I think there were only 2 images missing in it in the normal Necronomicon. That was for 2 entities, the Omethal Wardens, which don't yet exist, and the Shadow Titans, which don't yet exist. And this is the new missing texture image for the Necronomicon, which is neat. Yeah. Nothing super interesting about that, I guess. But whatever, it's a difference. There's still nothing on the spellbook. Oh yeah, there is now although I think this might already have been there, there's now a section about the enchantments. There is now, it used to be, Corallium 1 and Dread 1 and Iron Wall 1, and there was up to Light Pierce 5, but yeah, no, not anymore. There's only 1 level of them now, except for Light Pierce. It's still Light Pierce still goes up to 5 levels. The little black flashing thing in the background, that's a visual glitch from the night vision helmet I've got on. So, what's left to talk about? Well, honestly, not a whole lot. Like I said, there aren't that many differences. I will say that, I've mentioned before that Shinao has been updating the Abyssalcraft pretty frequently. He updates like twice a month or something, which is a lot more frequent than most other mods. But yeah, most of those updates are basically bug fixes. You should know that there aren't as many mods for 1.8 and 1.9. I mean, 1.9 only came out in March. It's only been like, what is it, 3 months? A little bit more than 3 months since the entire version of Minecraft came out. There aren't a lot of mods yet for it. And even then, you should know that updating I'm sorry, I got tongue-tied. When they updated from 1.7 to 1.8, there was a bunch of the source code that got changed, and basically it completely altered the way mods worked. So lots and lots of mods from 1.7 never got updated to 1.8. So yeah. So anyway, I suppose I'll take a quick look through the other dimensions just to show them, I guess. So, the Abyssal Wasteland. As far as I know, absolutely nothing in this dimension has changed. Yeah. There's nothing different. I don't have anything else to say. There's just nothing else to it. The Dreadlands. Well, there is one difference I can note for you. Teleport real quick. Okay, I had to reload real quick there. The Dreadlands Forest. If you remember when we were in the biome, that particular biome before, there were Dreadland trees about, but there weren't exactly a whole lot of them. Didn't really look much like a forest. Well, now it does look like a forest, that is. It's, the interesting looking Dreadland trees are now far more frequent in the Dreadland Forest biome, to the point that it actually looks like a forest. Yep, that's the difference. And that's about it. Well, now to check out Omathal. So, Omathal. There are no differences here either. Genuinely. There's nothing new or interesting here, as far as I know. I will say this, though. I did encounter something interesting with the remnants that I haven't noticed before. It might just, again, it might just be something that I haven't noticed in the past. I don't... Oh. What the heck? I need to take this off now. Dang it, now he won't trade with me. Although it is interesting, I'm in creative and he's still trying to attack me. They didn't do that before. Huh. Well, sure, okay, that's something new. The remnants will now try to attack you even if you're in creative, if they harm them. I didn't know that. And, yeah, okay, so what I was trying to note was that, this, I'm pretty sure, is a blacksmith, remnant, which, like the blacksmith villagers, have specific trades. I noticed that he was offering a trade for trading coins for this particular item here, the plated corallium chestplate, which I have never seen before and honestly was pretty darn cool. Because as I have noted before, the plated corallium chestplate is really hard to get because it requires lots of materials, and by comparison, the coins are ridiculously easy to get. And so that's a really good trade, and I have never seen anything quite like it before from the remnants. But, yeah, that was it. For a second I thought it looked like he was trying to attack me too. Interesting. Okay, so the remnants will try to attack you in creative. That's pretty much it. Okay, so that's about it for version differences between Minecraft 1.8 and 1.9 and the 1.7 versions of Abyssalcraft. Yeah. There wasn't honestly a whole lot to say, simply because version differences aren't that different. And again, I will say that versions 1.6 and 1.5 and 1.4 for Abyssalcraft will be very different. I haven't covered them simply because I don't even think they were ever actually finished. The
Omathal and the Dark Realm, I think, were only actually added to Abyssalcraft in 1.7. If you're playing those other versions for whatever reason, the mod was flat out incomplete. It wasn't even close to completion, pretty much. Plenty of visual differences, crafting differences, stuff. I know that before the rituals were implemented, you actually summoned a Sora using an item you crafted. But yeah, differences. There aren't a whole lot of them just yet. There will be eventually. Probably. I was Shepherd Chong, and this was a supplemental episode of Abyssalcraft is Kind of Awesome. Goodbye.